Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got LeBron's record-breaking week, mischief taking over the game, this week's hottest releases, and of course, a Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Kyrie Irving is now a Dallas Maverick. Too bad this didn't happen at the start of the season. Then we could have gotten a Sports Illustrated cover with Kai and Luka Doncic with the headline, "Now this is going to be fun." Yeah, still not over that one, SI. Thanks, but back to Kai and Luka. They haven't played together as of this recording, but I can't wait to see it for the month and a half that is going to be fine. Then Kai starts missing games for reasons. Dallas gets blitzed in the playoffs by Phoenix because Kevin Durant, and Luka realizes this was a dumb idea and demands a trade to the Lakers. Go Mavs! As for my Lakers, we lost Rust and got another Russ. Man, on the plus side, thanks for the memories, Pat Bev, whatever they were. SneakerCon has banned mystery boxes. This felt inevitable considering the outsized outrage regarding it, but don't worry, I'm sure that kids will now become fiscally responsible and not waste their parents' money starting up a reseller business with Desert Camo Dunks. Adidas could lose $1.29 billion, that's billion with a B, in revenue if they choose to just hold or destroy their unsold Yeezys. According to NBC News, they are waffling between losing some money by repurposing the shoes without YZY branding and losing a lot of money by just dumping them. Yeah, whatever. I'm still sick of this crap, so we're just gonna keep this short. People just want the shoes, Adidas, so sell them at cost or at a price point where you break even. Barely registers in people's minds anymore except for his most sycophantic fans. They just want the shoes, so sell them already. Put them in dumpster bins outside of Adidas stores without boxes, create a viral moment, and hope they also buy Ivy Park because that ain't working out so hot for them either, but more on that later. Before we move on to the next segment, I hope the people who had their pitchforks out for Kyrie when he posted stupid keep the same energy for Joe Rogan. That's all I ask, man. If the penance Kyrie paid for his mistakes is now the standard, Rogan needs to face similar consequences for the stupid he said this past week. Keep that same energy. Now some thoughts on this past week's historic moment in the NBA. Congratulations to LeBron James on breaking the NBA's all-time scoring record, previously held by your captain, my captain, the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. James passed Kareem on a picture-perfect fadeaway that looks like it should be framed somewhere in the Basketball Hall of Fame by now. It's basically a modern-day Renaissance painting with all of the details on it. From now, former Laker Thomas Bryant doing the right thing and asking for the ball since he's practically underneath the hoop, 95% of the crowd looking at their cell phones instead of watching the play unfold, and Nike founder Phil Knight sitting down like the most content son of a bitch in the world because A, Nike will be able to monetize this moment forever, and B, he knows he can just enjoy the moment because he can just ask Bronny or Bryce for a copy of their video later. It reminds me of that famous picture of Michael Jordan's last shot, and there's that one kid in the Bulls jersey who's got his arms raised in the air in defiance of all the Utah fans. Let that be a lesson for everybody, man, including me. Savor the moment, let it breathe, and enjoy it for what it was, and not how you can flex on everybody later by sharing it on the socials. Besides, you can always ask Bronny to airdrop you that video later. Anyways, if I can borrow the most annoying copy pasta on the internet, but what does this mean for LeBron's legacy? Well, let me tell you. It means that we just witnessed the bookend of LeBron James's legendary career. Look, I hope I'm wrong and that he can lead my 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers to 18 before it's all said and done. But it's not looking good, man. The trade deadline brought back some pieces that will hopefully improve our three-point shooting, but Magic Johnson let D'Angelo Russell go and shaded him on the way out for a reason. And now he's back and calling himself an alpha, a stupid and outdated term. Yeah, just run to the corner and shoot, Alpha D-Lo. That's all we need from you. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I doubt it. Okay, so back to LeBron. If this is the last great thing he does, that's a heck of a way to go out. He'll probably play a few more years, convince the Lakers to draft Bronny or force his way to the team that takes his son and call it a career. I'm just happy to say I didn't spend the entire time disliking him because I grew up a fan of Michael Jordan and witnessed the late, great Kobe Bryant's whole run here in LA. When LeBron did amazing stuff in Cleveland, like the 25 straight points against Detroit in the East Finals in 2007, I watched in awe. When he was at the peak of his athletic performance in Miami, which we now low-key underrate these days, it was captivating. And when he nailed that chase down block against friend of the program, Andre Iguodala in 2016, it was cathartic to watch him be so overcome with emotion for finally winning one for his hometown. Oh, and he got one for us Laker fans too. Like, what's not to like and appreciate about that? Yeah, he's made dumb decisions, like the decision, and he'll occasionally tweet something ill-advised like he did last week. But if that's the worst that we get for him, I think we're pretty damn lucky, man. All right. It's time for the heat check where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. So get ready. It's All-Star Weekend and there are a lot of sneakers dropping. So here we go. We have the Stussy Nike Air Penny 2 Rattan in Limestone. That's on the 14th for $200. The women's Nike Dunk Low Valentine's Day. That's $110. The Air Jordan 1 High 85 Panda on the 15th for $200. The Nike Dunk Low Oregon. That's $110. The Reebok Question Pump on the 16th for $180. The women's Nike Dunk Low Just Do It on the 16th for $120. The Stone Island New Balance 574 for $140. The Nike Zoom Flight 95 Football Gray on the 17th for $170. The Nike KD 15 All-Star. The Nike LeBron 20 All-Star for $200. The Nike Zoom Freak 4 All-Star for $120. The Nike Air Penny 2 Rosewood on the 17th for $180. The Nike Air Penny 2 Football Gray for $180. The women's Air Jordan 1 Laney for $180. The Puma MB-02 Rick and Morty for $140. The Reebok Pump Twilight Zone for $170. The Jound, I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm going to say it. There's New Balance 991, that's on the 17th. The Reebok Shaq Victory Pump, that's $180. The Air Jordan 13 Playoffs on the 18th for $210. The Adidas Crazy One, aka the Kobe, for $150, and then the Puma Suede by Jeff Staple on the 18th for $100 as well. And then for the pick of the week, we have the Mischief Big Red Boot for the 16th for $350. So let's do a heat check on the Mischief Big Red Boot. You might remember Mischief from such lawsuits as Nike going after them for selling customized Air Max 97s with blood inside the Air Max units, or when Vans tried to shut down their wavy babies that are basically old schools that went through a SpongeBob mocking filter. Well, they're back with their latest attempt to piss off somebody, the Big Red Boot. Their target? Sneakerheads. And guess what? Mission accomplished, fellas. There's a smart part of me that hopes that the collective sneaker culture sues Mischief. For what exactly? I don't know, but man, they are not happy. Me personally, I think it's great. Disclaimer, co-writer made me say that last part. I think it's pretty but he's leading this segment, so I'm letting him run with this. Anyways, in the past year since I first heard of them, Mischief has continually tested the boundaries of what sneakerheads want or didn't know they wanted. I doubt a lot of the people were genuinely into the Satan shoes, and conversely, I don't think there was a long line for the Jesus shoes that were released prior to the Lil Nas X collab. It's just resellers trying to catch a lick. The numbers you're seeing on reseller platforms? Wishful thinking. It's all performative and less an indicator of their actual value. Take out the religious collection? No one cares. But doing so got them noticed. It paved the way for the wavy babies and gob stomper sneakers that attracted a little less heat from the brands, Vans notwithstanding, and were actually wearable for the most of the public. It got them in the door, and now they are on the verge of dropping their most accessible release yet, the Big Red Boots. Now hold on, Jacques and co-writer. You're probably thinking to yourself, the Big Red Boots, aka Astro Boys, aka the boots from Dora Explorer, aka the Ronald McDonald's, are accessible? Yes, because they're going viral in a way that nobody could have anticipated. Why is that? Because they're accessible in a way sneakers haven't been in a long time. I'm not saying accessible because these are going to be easy to buy and that the $350 price tag is wild obnoxious, and they are apparently not that accessible to wear, judging from some of the videos I've seen online. It's like they're the new Yeezy slides. What I'm saying is that they are boots that are so mind-numbingly simple and basic that everybody immediately has a connection to them. They remind you of Astro Boy? You're probably into anime or somebody who grew up in Japan or in Southeast Asia during the 70s and 80s. Boots? Nick Jr. was your jam once upon a time. Ronald McDonald? Well, everybody knows that, creeper. These boots are the definition of iconic in a world where everybody wants to slap that word on everything that's even remotely cool. Wait, co-writer, do you mean iconic or ironic? Oh. That being said, do I anticipate a lot of people wearing these in the streets in a few weeks? Maybe, but my guess is that the demand is partially driven by the ability to meme them and partially for the apparent resale value. It's a release that's getting a ton of buzz, but I can't take it that seriously. Like, shout out to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Trinidad James for rocking them a few days ago, but I doubt that will be the norm. Then again, I thought Yeezy foam runners were nothing more than a stupid as hell bootleg croc, and look what happened. Oh, I mean, I still think they're stupid as hell bootleg Crocs, but there are now people who honestly believe Kanye created foam slides. So maybe in a few weeks we'll be proving wrong and we'll see not just big red boots, but big yellow boots, big green boots, big purple boots, and every other color that you can imagine at Walmart third-party sellers. If that heats up sneaker culture, fine. Maybe that will light the fire under the designers at Nike and Adidas and Puma and Under Armour and everywhere else to come up with something that isn't necessarily a big red boot and isn't stealing the idea from a smaller creator, but does inspire them in a way we haven't seen in a while. Man, who could have guessed big red boots would overtake Tiffany's Air Force One in the hype train? And yes, I do fully expect a big Tiffany blue boot to be sold on Amazon by the end of the month. You know who should be pissed at all of this renewed interest in Astro Boy? The retailer bait. Those guys have been working with the Astro Boy license for years now, and they never got even a fraction of the attention Mischief is getting for the big red boots that had to be inspired by the legendary character. Well, maybe now people will look up bait Astro Boy merch and pair it with those boots. It looks better, honestly. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like people shitting on All-Star signature shoes. It's like a February tradition, like Valentine's Day or the Super Bowl. Sneaker culture just loves to crap on whatever LeBron, KD, Giannis, Steph, Dame, LaMelo, and others are dropping All-Star weekend. You know, I don't have a problem with people expressing their disappointment or whatever, but I get the feeling that it's less people actually not being happy and more not wanting to look like the dork who likes new shoes because, God forbid, we actually like shoes that aren't retros. And the phrase that annoys me more than anything is they don't make them like they used to. Like, I want to ask them, when? Like, you, person who doesn't like new All-Star shoes, name me the time when they did it right. And don't tell me it's 2012 or 1996 because all that's revealing to me is that you have access to the internet and you can follow every sneaker meme account who posts pictures of Michael Jordan wearing the Columbias in 96 or that Rajon Rondo rocked the Galaxy foams. So in the nearly 40 years we've been tracking what legends like MJ, Magic, Bird, Dominique, Scotty, Shaq, Penny, GP, Kemp, Grant Hill, KG, J Kidd, Vince, Dirk, Duncan, C-Web, T-Mac, Bron, Melo, D-Wade, CP3, Blake, Kai, Kawhi, Steph, and others have worn, only 2 years were good? On a semi-related note, it took us nearly 6 seasons of doing this show, but we finally found somebody in the comments who thinks we think the WWE is real. Wow. Wow? Like, next thing you're going to tell us Iron Man didn't actually save the universe from Thanos? Or that Bran didn't really win the Iron Throne? Or that Ellie wasn't bummed when she didn't get to play Mortal Kombat 2? Oops, sorry. Last of Us spoilers. Damn. The show was just turned upside down because we just learned pro wrestling isn't real. Whatever. Anyways, this week's Hard Pass goes to, no. Look, co-writer, bro, you make me say a lot of wild shit on this show, but I'm drawing a line at mentioning the Is there any way we can flip this around and not necessarily point the finger at the No? Well, look, I'm making an executive decision right now. I don't need that mess in my life. So, a few days after Beyonce was robbed, I tells you, of yet another Grammy for Best Album of the Year, the Wall Street Journal dropped the headline, Beyonce's clothing line with Adidas suffers from weak sales. Again, I would like to state for the record that this is based on the Wall Street Journal's reporting, not mine. These do not align with the views of Hard Pass, where we think Beyonce is pretty good. But it would be sneaker malfeasance for us not to talk about this, so here we go. According to sales figures obtained by the Journal, sales of the Ivy Park line in 2022 dropped by more than 50% to 40 million, a steep drop, especially when Adidas projected 250 million in sales. From expected 250 million to 40 million is definitely a case of the math ain't mathin'. So what happened? Why hasn't Ivy Park caught on with sneaker culture and maybe more importantly, the general public? Beyonce is supposed to have that golden touch where everything she's associated with just prints money. She's got a multitude of endorsements, her tours sell out in seconds, and the merch isn't that far behind. The Journal is also saying that 5 of the last 6 Ivy Park collections didn't sell out and that over half remain unseen. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but isn't that the case with general releases, which is what I assumed Ivy Park was supposed to be? Beyonce's brand wasn't supposed to be limited edition like a Cactus Jack or a Yeezy. Ivy Park was supposed to be like Pharrell's Human Race line or Rihanna's Fenty collab with Puma. Sure, maybe it started out in smaller numbers, but then it would expand to the point where anybody that would want a pair of monochromatic Ultra Boost or Remix Top 10 2000s would be able to buy them. And if they went on sale, even better for the consumer, right? Right? Well, I guess I was wrong. For their part, Adidas is saying they are happy with the partnership and that they don't release financials, which is of course they are, and of course they won't. At the same time, the deal is set to expire later this year. We'll know soon enough if Adidas is happy with the partnership or not based on whether we see Ivy Park past 2023 or the strategy changes. But what I want to know is what made the sneaker culture go meh with Ivy Park. It seemed like there was a ton of momentum out of the gate. Memes about the first collection looking like Popeye's uniforms went viral, but things slowed down. Were people not happy with the sneakers that were being released? Was the price a little too rich for sneakerheads and fans alike? Were the care packages being sent to Beyonce's celebrity friends a little try hard? A big part of the discourse online was that Beyonce herself wasn't seen wearing Ivy Park all that much except when it's time to sell a new collection. Travis Scott, Kanye, Pharrell, Rihanna, they wore their brands and sneakers constantly, or at least more than Beyonce does. Certainly, all of this played a factor, but I also think none of this matters if the sneakers were more popping and more Ivy Park. Personally, I could see myself wearing a lot of Ivy Park sneakers like the Ultra Boost or the Nike Joggers or the Savage. But if you ask me what makes them Ivy Park or Beyonce, I don't think I could give you an answer. All right. That's going to do it for the show today. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you would like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace.